Government bans production and distribution and use of plastic from May 31st. Suspects involved in kidnapping 2 Cuban doctors in Kenya are taken to court. Agents from across the globe interested in talent among AFCON under-17 teams. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Vanessa Victor. Let's get started with the national news. The government has banned the production and distribution as well as use of plastic bags from May the 31st and directed investors of factories that were creating the plastic bags to use their raw materials to create other goods that will be friendly to the environment as well as to raise the economy.
Sisi tukubali tu kwamba kwa maslahi ya nchi.
For nation's benefits, environment and the future generations, there are people who will incur losses. There is nothing much to say because it was predictable that time will come and plastic will be in no use. It is written and we had several meetings towards this matter. Those that shall supervise the exercise should not find it as an opportunity to engage in corruption practices. I'm asking for high diligence, trust and patriotism to be in the forefront of this sector. Annually, there are demands of 3 billion plastic bags, according to our population. This is a great opportunity for people to invest in producing eco-friendly bags, and many people will benefit from that business.
Over 400 residents having land conflict with an investor in over a 300-acre piece of land at Vijibweni area, Kigamboni district, have asked the government to closely follow up on the conflicts of that nature due to money being used to undermine the rights of those with less. Speaking to residents, the Minister of Land, Housing and Human Settlement Development, William Lukuvi, banned citizens from continuing to build in the 300-acre area that has been disputed upon for over 15 years until the conflict is resolved.
What the Korean did is not fair. There are many villages who have been affected by them. The Koreans came to survey in 2003 and came back in 2006 and began paying compensation.
Tukaletewa barua kutoka mahakama kuu.
When we went to Temeke Municipal to get evaluation, original report, which will be used in court, we were told that it is not there. Where later on, we received a document from High Court directing us to vacate the area. We responded by writing a letter to the Chief Justice complaint on this matter. I want to listen to you personally before I make any decision, but I am aware that this dispute has lasted for 15 years. It is true that these Koreans were given 305 hectares of land so that they can build a university, but in the process they did pay compensations and later you took your compensation complaints to court, which I am aware that you lost the case, with 22 people still demanding for their compensation and 6 people demanding for additional money for compensation.
The Minister of Works, Transport and Communications, Engineer Isaac Mwewe, has launched an exercise connecting the modern railway through electricity at 53-kilometer distance in Soga Village Coast Region with the intention of completing the construction of the first phase of the section of modern railway from Dar es Salaam to Morogoro.
Kwamba serikali yetu ya awamu ya 5
The fifth phase government has determined to construct a standard gauge railway where electrical trains will be operating on this rail. It is very heavy compared to the ones that we have already constructed. We started with meter gauge, which is the central corridor rail traveling from Dar es Salaam, Mwanza to Katavi. We also constructed Tazara railway that traveled from Dar es Salaam to Nduma and Zambia. The world has changed. Now the world uses trains which are electrical and travel with high speed. In construction of rail, there are several phases, but this agreement that we entered with the contractors, it was for designing and construction, which takes a while.
The Deputy Minister of State in the President's Office for Public Service and Good Governance, Dr. Mary Monchelwa, has directed employers and public leaders to follow the law when they fulfill their duties. Due to some officials who stay acting heads of offices for long periods of time, which is against the law that states people should not be acting heads for longer than 6 months.
There are people who act in certain positions for a long time, which is not legally recognized. There was a document that was released September last year addressing that all acting positions must have special permit from the responsible ministry and the acting duration should not exceed 6 months.
And on his part, the Deputy Minister of Regional Administration and Local Government, Josephat Kandege, spoke on infrastructural improvements and the government's plan to improve the rapid bus transport system project in Dar es Salaam so as to strengthen transportation by increasing the number of buses to 305 by August of this year.
In this month of April, the processes of getting a contractor will begin, and hopefully by August this year we shall get a perfect contractor who will run the buses, where the number of buses will increase from 140 to 305. Deputy Speaker and members of Parliament, I want to assure you that the process will go well. We are also planning to build a road at the middle of Dar es Salaam city, which will be heading to Kilwa Road, Gongo la Mboto and Tegeta. We are tired of waiting. Please, hire teachers. Education can never wait. If we prolong these matters, we shall delay our children's right to education. Please, solve teachers' challenges from promotion, salaries and other areas.
Top leaders of 8 political parties have together opened a case at the East Africa Court of Justice, the EACJ, opposing the political parties' bill being pushed for in the country. A case that has been received by the EACJ, with the government being given 45 days through the Attorney General to respond to the legal requests made by the parties.
I must say that as the law to introduce multi-party democracy was still a bill, that is, it had not yet been enacted as a law, many Tanzanians gave their contributions so that the law would be a good one, which would safeguard the future of democracy in this country. I would like to say that the House Speaker is the one in the Parliament who has the authority to select members of various committees. However, I must say that this new development, whereby the House Speaker wants the CAG, Professor Musa Assad, to resign, is a very controversial one indeed. I must say that we had requested for opinions and views from all stakeholders which were intended to improve the whole process of regional and local government elections. However, I would like to add that we had expected that these views and opinions would have reached us in time so that we would be able to work upon them before the regional and local government elections are held. However, I would like to add that we had expected that those opinions and views would have reached us in time so that we would be able to work upon them before the regional and local government elections are held.
The High Court in Moshi has dismissed the argument made by the defense team's lawyers to dismiss the confession made by the first defendant, Hamis Chacha, on being involved in the murder of a student at Scholastical School, that is Humphrey Makundi.
The defense's legal team claimed that the confession did not contain the date or time when the first accused was arrested. Also, the confession contained no explanations about where the first accused had been right up to the point when he was taken to court under the guard of law enforcement agencies. Moreover, the defense team raised issues about the fact that the first accused's confession was obtained 4 hours after his arrest. After listening to the explanations, the court said that both arguments were groundless because they were covered in the confession. At the same time, Judge Aprili Matogolo said that the argument concerning 4 hours should have been put forward to the police and not to a judge because according to the law, there isn't enough time for a court to consider such issues in every single case. Judge Matogolo explained that the accused, Hamis Chacha, was arrested on November 17, 2017, one Friday evening, and he was brought before Judge Irene Mushi on November 20th, 2017. Judge Matogolo said that the first accused claims that he was unfairly treated are lies because when he was brought before Judge Irene Mushi, he said nothing of the sort, and in fact he added that he was healthy. In addition, Judge Matogolo said that the explanations which the first accused gave while giving his testimony did not resemble the explanations which he has given before the court.
The regional branch of the Prevention and Combating of Corruption Bureau of PCCB in Rukwa region has directed Kalambo District Council to closely follow up and prevent any payment to the contractors implementing the Kileweni Village Water Project that is worth more than 990 million shillings. This comes after it was discovered that the water project is now more than 9 months behind schedule, and to make matters worse, the project has been abandoned by the contractor.
The small tank that was built for distributing water to the distributing big tank has cracks. From investigations done by PCCB, it has advised the Council of Kalambo District to change the source of energy from solar to electricity. As PCCB, we are saying that corruption fightings do not just belong to PCCB, but everybody is involved. What we need is people to cooperate with us in ending these malpractices. We have even released a free number to call, which is 113. If anybody has any information, if that is impossible, our doors are open.
The Minister for Livestock and Fisheries, Luhaga Mpina, has criticized dynamite fishing and all fishermen who use illegal fishing gear and told them that these types of fishing activities not only cause real harm to marine life, but are also dangerous to the health of human beings.
We are preserving the fish eggs because later on the people can go and fish with the fish being in the water. If today we decide to lie to you and let you all fish in any manner that you want to, then in the end you'll go to the lake and you'll go to the oceans and you won't find fish of any kind. Even now, most of the fishermen are facing this particular challenge. You fish at a high cost as you use fuel and everything else that is required. You switch on the engines and all that, but you cannot even regain something that can make up for the cost of the fuel. It cannot even pay for the labor force because we have destroyed all the fish due to illegal fishing activities. We have given mafia residents huge respect by making the process start here and ensuring that the training is given to the fishermen of Mafia Island. So all the misunderstanding about many things, especially with regards to the laws as well as the measurements of fishing facilities, will be explained well in the seminar. Even other things that maybe you asked the minister here, but due to the challenge of time he has failed, will be provided as the training team will explain all of that.
That is all for national news. International news is next. And in international news, 4 days after the kidnapping of 2 Cuban doctors who were serving in Kenya, terrorist officers of the ATPU have been allowed to detain for 15 days the driver of the vehicle that was carrying the doctors before they were kidnapped by Al-Shabaab militants.
Wakimaliza uchunguzi wao, kesi itatajwa tarehe 30 mwezi wa 4. Confirm kama wamemaliza uchunguzi.
Still in Kenya, the body of the officer who was killed by these Al-Shabaab militants while protecting and providing security to 2 doctors from Cuba in Mandera area has been transported to the coast of Kenya for burial.
Kwa hivyo langu pengine ni kuomba serikali.
My call for the government is that they should suspend the project because it has arose several challenges since it began. Doctors have been complaining a lot. In a period of 1 month in Pwani County, we have lost 2 people. If possible, when the presidents enter into such agreements, they should send the matter to the parliament to be discussed and find way forward for such projects to prevail.
Kuleta jambo hilo bungeni lijadiliwe zaidi.
China will continue to aid Burundi in development issues. This was said by the Deputy Speaker of the Parliament of the People's Republic of China, Cao Jianming, who is conducting a visit in Burundi.
We shall proceed cooperation between our 2 countries, and we shall provide support in the economical sector, trade, education, health and youth development projects. China is ready to extend more support to Burundi. Also, the Parliament of China has supported the Parliament of Burundi with 500,000 yen. We are hoping that the cooperation will sustain for a long time. Through your support to Burundi, it signifies the good relations and friendship between these 2 countries.
Meanwhile, a delegation of investors from China have asked the government of Uganda to come up with a safe and a friendly environment for investment so that they can fully invest in Uganda.
2004. In 2004, China and Uganda signed a commercial agreement of reducing taxes to investors from China and security matters. Still, right now, Uganda has not fulfilled implementation of the agreement. We are calling on the government of Uganda to take this matter seriously.
And another agreement.
And that is all for international news, but do stay with us. We'll be back with business news after this break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news. Tanzania Revenue Authority has succeeded in collecting 11.96 trillion shillings in 9 months of the 2018-2019 financial year. This is from July of 2018 to March of 2019 as part of efforts to reach the goal to collect 18.1 trillion shillings.
Tunaongeza wigo wa ulipaji wa kodi.
We are expanding the number of taxpayers by taking our services closer to taxpayers. That is why we began with accessing TIN numbers. Right now, we are providing education throughout the country so that every person who does any business is reached in every corner of this country. And even those who intend to join the business sector should also be aware of what they are entitled to do before having a business, to owning the business legally and paying taxes. It is also a platform that people can interact with TRA officers to present their challenges.
Bali ni mchango wa hiari au wa kisheria ambao inabidi alipe.
The Bank of Tanzania BOT has warned of the presence of loan systems that have been used to observe the trends of people who take out loans, with financial institutions using the system to make decisions on whether to approve loans or not. The assistant manager in charge of credit reference for BOT, Kanwa Magina, said that they have begun to provide education so that citizens are aware of the presence of the system and they can use it to follow up on their information.
Kila mkopaji anaweza kupata.
Any person who wants to take loans should get the assistance easily, because through the credit bureau report will show the loans history of a person who is asking for a loan. However, through the report, it will show the behavior of the client and will determine if one should be given loan or not. In this campaign, we urge clients who wish to take loans should make sure that their borrowing history is good. It will be a favorable routine to access more loans in future. Right now, there are higher numbers of youths who borrow money through mobile phones and decline paying back. My call to them is that people should be responsible with their financial behavior, because right now there is a system that can easily track borrowers' information.
Sunflower farmers in the country have been told to produce their crop through traditional methods so as to meet the requirements of the international markets of Europe as well as in India, so as to cope with the effects of climate change, which has led to shortage of the product, with 60% of sunflower oil ordered from outside the country.
Watumie pembejeo za hali ya juu ambazo zinafaa.
They should use good quality inputs which are right to the area that they will be used, because currently the market offers a variety of inputs for different areas. For example, dry areas need agriculture inputs that will facilitate crops to grow in a short period of time. Another thing that farmers need to know is that they should equip things that will go hand in hand with climate change. Climate change is affecting a lot of us. For example, last year there were high rains, there was no good harvest of sunflower. When processors bought one sack of 70 kilograms of sunflower, got only 10 to 15 liters of sunflower oil.
And that is it for business news. Sports is next.
Hi, my name is Kotaro Tokuda. What's up? My name is Céline Garnier.
I'm John Barnes from Liverpool Football Club. The hip, hop, a hip it, the hip it, the hip hop. You don't stop the rockin' to the bang bang boogie. Say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now watch you here.
I'm watching Sports Gazette.
I'm watching Sport Gazette.
And you're watching Sports Gazette
With Sebastian.
With Sebastian. Peace out.
Yes! And you can also watch Sports Gazette for highlights and interviews regarding sports. Do not miss Sports Gazette every Wednesday at 7 p.m. only on Capital Television.
And on to sports. Soccer players, agents from different parts of the world have been interested with the talents that they have seen among the African under-17 teams participating in the Youth Africa Cup of Nations, where Tanzania's Serengeti boys are also competing.
Some good players from both teams. I'm very happy to see that Africa has talent like that. We have seen, particularly in Tanzania, the number 10, who was a very good player. I remember I've seen him also in Turkey a few months ago. When they came back and they went up to 4-3 for Tanzania, which showed that this is a fighting spirit in the players, and then they're playing and they're fighting for their country, and that's very important in the mentality for the young players.
Now, I don't think the top countries like Cameroon, Ivory Coast, Ghana will remain on top, because countries like Tanzania is produced like your number 10 we've been talking about. We saw him in Turkey. We think you have more players like that coming out from countries like Tanzania. So, and then you have companies like us being interested to come to the country to scout players. I think it will help the country also to have international players. You have Samantha doing well in Belgium.
5 young African election candidates are facing objections for different reasons, with the registration of candidates proceeding prior to the election in May.
The candidates that are facing objections include Elias Mwanjala, Hussein Nyika, Sisla Limo, Tobias Lingalangala, and Samuel Lukumai. Mwanjala is a candidate for the chairperson post. After we put everything into perspective, today we will tell you.
14 years after he last put on the green jacket, 11 years after last winning a major, and 24 months after conceding to friends, I'm done. Tiger Woods has completed a triumph which rates as extraordinary even by his own standards.
It seemed poetic for the sensational act to transpire at Augusta, where Woods began altering the shape of golf in 1997. 22 years on, a 43-year-old Woods celebrated more widely than ever before in the company of his mother and children. Tiger Woods is a 5-time Masters champion now. The scene was barely believable that Woods won his 15th major from the position of behind after 54 holes, something he had not achieved before, hardly registered amid the chaos. It would require the pagination of a telephone directory to properly record what occurred on his Masters Sunday.
Ferrari defended their decision to use team orders in China, despite the decision failing to make any difference to their finishing positions. Here are more details.
The team principal remained convinced it had been the right thing to do, while Charles Leclerc considered he had accepted the team's explanation for telling him to cede his place to Sebastian Vettel. Leclerc had jumped Vettel at the start, taking 3rd place, but Ferrari ordered him to let Vettel pass, believing the Germany was quicker. Having done so, however, Vettel made no inroads into Lewis Hamilton's lead, and the pair finished 3rd and 5th. Leclerc had said he wanted an explanation from Ferrari, and although he did not look particularly happy, appeared to have accepted it.
Jurgen Klopp was blown away by the brilliance of Mohamed Salah's strike against Chelsea as he urged Liverpool to produce a flawless finish to the Premier League title race.
Salah struck an astounding goal 142 seconds after Sadio Mane opened the scoring at Anfield as Liverpool retook a 2-point lead over Manchester City with victory against Maurizio Sarri's side. Klopp was thrilled by what he described as a complete team performance and the build-up to Mane's 13th goal in 16 games, but it was Salah's emphatic finish past Kepa Arrizabalaga that left him momentarily speechless. Salah has 19 league goals, 22 in total, but had been on a barren run by his standards of 1 goal in 10 games before sealing victory against his former club. Liverpool are only 4 wins from their first league title since 1990, should City slip up in any of the remaining 5 matches.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. On behalf of everyone who prepared this bulletin, my name is Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching and have a good night.
It's Culinary Delights every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. only on Capital Television.